Hello. Okay. Hi everybody. Good evening. My name is Noemi Canabay. I'm a senior at Marianas High School, and what I did over the summer was a surveillance of the Philippine fruit fly and the mangrove fruit fly on the island of Saipan. So just a little research background. The Philippine fruit fly, just like the name, it's native to the Philippines. It is widely spread throughout the whole country. It has been reported to be in Palau in 1955. It attacks a wide variety of fruit and is a very invasive, destructive pest. And for the mangrove fruit fly, it's widely spread throughout the FSM, the Federated States of Micronesia. It attacks and infests fruits as well. And also there have been early records that it has been on Saipan before, but it hasn't been really implemented. So we were supposed to present this in DC. And if anybody doesn't know where Federated States of Micronesia is, it's just those little islands on top of us. Those little tiny islands. So that's how the flies would look like. The mangrove fruit fly up there, the Philippine fruit fly, they're not that distinctly different, and they're not that big also. They're just 0.5 millimeters, which is just about half of your thumb if you would measure it. So these flies are not on island yet. My project was just to figure out whether they were present on island. They are a very big harm to the fruit industry, and on Saipan, one of the major industries we have is the agricultural industry. Every Saturday we have this market called the Sabalu market. It's when the farmers around the island come and they just sell their vegetables and stuff. And so if these flies come on island, then they'll have a big impact on the agriculture industry, which will really have an impact on the Saipan's economy. These are just a list of fruits that the Philippine fruit fly affects, with the spiral fruit being one of the very major ones. And a list of what the mangrove fruit fly affects. So a lot of fruits, and tropical almond at its highest. So the impact, again, it is an invasive species, and it's a very big threat if it was an island. And also, the U.S. spent just The U.S. spends $120 billion just on invasive species, the threat it caused, and how to control and contain it. This fly right here is a Bactricia cucurbitae, which is also, in other words, the melon fly. The melon fly, this is on island. This is an invasive species, and it's present on island since 2005. And so what it does is these flies are ovipositors. Just like bees, they have these little stingers behind them. And what the females do is that they find fruits that they're attracted to. They lay their eggs into the fruit, and what happens when their eggs hatch, the larvae comes out and it just eats the fruits they attack. So if this happens to the fruit industry, the vegetable industry on Saipan, that is very dangerous to our economy. So just the basic goal of study is to set up surveillance monitoring stations at the ports of entry, the seaport, the airport, and agricultural areas and hotels on island. Surveillance is like, in other words, the traps we're going to set up, which you'll see soon. So the research question, have the Bactricia philippinensis and the Bactricia faunfeldi already established presence on Saipan? So how I chose this project was that my mentor is an entomologist, so I didn't really have a lot of choices like, oh, I want to work on diseases or yeah. So this is, insects are his specialty. So when he told me about this research he was doing, I was really interested in. We just continued it. So that's where Saipan would be located, for those you don't know. we were supposed to present this in Washington, D.C., and majority of people are like, oh, have you been Saipan? We're like, oh wait, where's Saipan? So that's just a little example of where we are. And also, this Saipan is a good place to check for the two fruit flies, because Philippines is right there, FSM is right there, so we'd be like in the zone of the flies. So it'd be good. Since Saipan is like one of the major areas where cargoes come back and forth, as well as Guam, the cargo that comes in could be holding the fly's eggs. Luggages from other countries could be holding it as well. So it's good to better safe than sorry. So while we were setting up the traps, my mentor and I had a GPS locating system. So what you see here is we had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 5 areas where we set up the traps of the fruit flies. A few in the airport, a few in a few in seaports, some in the hotel areas, and some farms up in Cagayan. So the hypothesis, I have 2 alternative hypotheses. One is that both fruit flies are present, and the other is that they are not. So the materials I use on my presentation. On your far left is the PFF, MFF. PFF stands for Philippine fruit fly, MFF stands for mangrove fruit fly. These are pheromones, and what pheromones do is that they lure the fly into the trap that we're going to put them in. The one in the middle right there is a vapor strip, which when the fly comes in the trap, they swarm around, and the vapor strip just lets out little gases that just kill the fly in like a couple minutes. And it's under protocol with the little wicks and tweezers for the pheromones. So the experimental method, we set up the traps. This is how the traps look like. So there'd be a little opening over there. What happens is that the fly comes in and it just flies around. It would seem that the pheromone is like an attractant to the fly, so it fly in, and the poison strip would eventually kill it, in case it just flies in. The pheromone and the poison strip. And these are just photos of me in my lab, and up in NMC in my mentor's lab, just setting up the flies. Over there, I was setting up fly trap number 13, I believe. So yeah, the use of attractive pheromone lures, which was made of methyl eugenol and Q lure, and the pest strip, which is the poison strip. And these traps were monitored bi-weekly. So every week we would go around the island twice and check these traps whether or not we have caught any of the targeted pests. Again, the pheromone are in the poison strip. These are just photos of how we would hang the traps around the island. Both photos are the traps in the seaports. And a trap in the airport, and the trap in the seaport again. So at the end, did we catch the targeted pest? The answer is no. These fruit flies are not, these are acrocia flies. My mentor wanted to make sure that we just individually saw if it was really the targeted pest or not. So fortunately, we don't have the mango or Philippine fruit fly on island. This is just a graph of the number of flies we caught. As you can see, we didn't catch any targeted pests in the MFF or PFF traps. So the results. Within the duration of my project, we did not catch any presence of the Philippine fruit fly or the mangrove fruit fly. But that doesn't mean we stopped my project. What we did was that my mentor suggested that we keep the traps around the island. So right now the traps are still there. My mentor is continuing this research. So even if I was finished with my research, the traps are still there on island, and he is still monitoring them bi-weekly just to see whether or not these flies come back or if we ever have one. So the conclusion, we did not find any of the fruit flies on island, and they were not present at any of the ports of entries on island. I just want to, just a few acknowledgements to my mentor, our coordinators, NMC Step Up, NMC Crease, and the public school system, because without them, this wouldn't have been possible.